I love you more. I love you most.
Yeah! Hello and welcome to the Decent Wrestling Show, episode number 31. Make sure to like, comment, share and subscribe. And also check out my friend S3V3N on YouTube and go subscribe to him and watch his MVs. He has 3 up currently, so go give them a watch. Also, recently I posted some more videos. I posted an Akira Hokuto MV, so please go check that out, and my No Way Out 2005 retro review, and I'll be eventually working on the WrestleMania 21 retro review coming soon, and I'm hoping also to get an Actress Girls 2.0 review up very shortly as well. But let's get right into the podcast and enjoy. NXT 2.0 and NXT UK. We open with an awesome opening segment between Bron Breakker and Dolph Ziggler. Dolph is continuously amazing on the mic, and he cut a great promo, and good stuff from Bron here as well, great fire from him. Bron is banned from ringside for the main event against Tommaso Ciampa. Ziggler will definitely make Bron look like $1,000,000 in their match, by the way. That is going to be a star-making performance for Bron Breakker. Ziggler's going to bump around like a madman for him. The first match was LA Knight, taking on Grayson Waller. 3 stars, solid opening match. Waller cheated to pick up the victory. I did like that LA Knight did some kicks in the corner and the crowd chanted "yeah" on each one, which was really funny. So Waller cheated to win the match, but LA Knight laid out him and his bodyguard after the match. And I think it was teased a last man standing match, but there'll definitely be a rematch with some sort of stipulation. I would be happy with a last man standing match. Toxic Attraction out next in their retro look. Beautiful, all 3 ladies. Cora and Raquel had a backstage segment, or not backstage segment, but a segment at a tree sort of resort. I don't know how you explain it, like some sort of obstacle sort of course in the trees or something like that. But it was quite funny. Raquel is scared of heights, and Cora just came back with, "You are the height." And Cora is very cute, but this was a good segment. Next up was the Dusty Classic. Io Shirai and Kaylee Ray took on Amari Miller and Lash Legend. 2.5 stars. Solid match. Kaylee Ray's moonsault was bad, but Io Shirai's was perfect. Lash Legend sucks, but Amari Miller is actually quite good and very entertaining. Throughout the show, there was some Brooks Jensen stuff, as he was trying to do like a dating video, and hilarious stuff from this. Brooks Jensen is really, really funny in this sort of stuff, and it was very entertaining. Next up, Duke Hudson took on Dante Chen. 2 stars, solid match. Duke picked up the win with their like a the hangman sort of bomb. Duke really does have it all. He's got the charisma, he's got the wrestling ability, but he just needs a better character to really dig his teeth into. Hopefully he gets that, because there is some talent there and he just needs to be brought out of him. The A champion Carmelo Hayes came out with Trick Williams again to cut another great promo. I don't know why, but I really love Melo's delivery of everything. I just love his voice. Pete Dunne came out. What are you on about, mate? He wants to face Melo next week. And then Cameron Grimes attacked Trick and Melo, which led to Cameron Grimes taking on Trick Williams. 3.25 stars. The only thing bad about this match was Trick Williams' awful bin bag gear. But overall, this was a good match and a solid performance from Trick Williams. He's a lot better than I thought he would be. Really good match. One scary moment is Grimes did a crossbody and landed right on Trick's head. But it seems like Trick's okay. Grimes picked up the win as you'd expect. Next up was the debut for Nikita Lyons, and her debut was very solid, and she turned a lot of heads. She had some good stuff, some odd stuff, but so there's definitely potential there, and she could be a very big star in the future. And yeah, my goodness, her proportions are insane. And a nice pinfall that everyone wish that they could take. Andre Chase is back, and he had another funny segment where whenever anyone asks him a question, he just goes absolutely off on them, and then goes, "Any more questions?" Very entertaining as usual from Andre Chase. Some backstage segment with Duke Hudson kissing Persia. Indy comes in and is disgusted by it, and Duke said, "You used to like it," and he Dexter Lumis then comes in and sees, Indy with Duke, and Duke's got lipstick on his mouth, and poor Dexter Lumis. Duke, you slimy bastard. The Creed's brothers are in the ring celebrating their victory on winning the Dusty Classic. They're interrupted by Imperium, but Gunther gets Bivens in the corner. Bivens is scared stiff, but Sikoa makes the save and super kicks Gunther. Bivens was amazing here as he gives the thumbs up to Sikoa while shaking. Very funny stuff. Gacy and Haaland have a backstage promo about Draco Anthony, and they're going to have a match next week, Haaland versus Draco. My goodness, poor Draco, you're going to die, mate. Dusty Classic continues as Tatum Paxley, the newest member of Diamond Mine, teamed up with Ivy Nye to take on Casey and Caden. 3.25 stars is actually a very good match. Loads of fast-paced, decent action. Ivy was quite iffy and she's still very, very green. But Paxley actually had a really good performance and she showed off her stuff. In the end, Casey and Katie picked up the win after pinning Tatum Paxley, which then led to Ivy Nile attacking Tatum Paxley after the match, and she's out of Diamond Mine already. Next week, it will be Mello taking on Pete Dunne for the NXT North American Championships, and Gunther taking on Solo Sikoa next week. Damn stacked card. And there'll be one more match added, which I'll tell you after this main event, which was Tommaso Ciampa taking on Dolph Ziggler in a match that you should definitely go out of your way to see. This was awesome stuff. 4.25 stars. Dolph Ziggler, when given the chance to shine, can have an absolute banger, and this is one of his best matches in years. This was phenomenal. A cameraman attacked Ciampa, which led to Ziggler picking up the victory, and it turns out it was Robert Roode. But yeah, awesome match. And there was a big brawl afterwards between Ciampa, Roode, Ziggler and Bron Breakker, which means they're going to have a tag match next week, which should be awesome. And it definitely looks like that will be Ciampa's last match on NXT, as he'll be moving up to the main roster soon. And good luck to him, and hopefully he succeeds. He's a phenomenal performer, and I think they'll like him because I think he reminds me a little bit of Kevin Owens in the way he cuts a promo and the fire that he gives in a promo. And I can definitely see that they have some similarities in that. So hopefully that gives me a good spot on the main roster. I could definitely see him as Intercontinental Champion or US Champion easily, and maybe a World Champion if he connects with the crowd enough. NXT UK, we kicked off with Amale taking on Xia Brookside. There was also Rowan Raj and Danny Jones. Both were good matches. I'll give them both 3 stars. Both were fine. Marley's a bit boring, but a solid performance from Raja and Danny Jones. Afterwards, they beat up Danny Jones, including Charlie Dempsey beat him up, which led to a backstage altercation where Charlie Dempsey versus A-Kid was teased, as A-Kid thought Charlie Dempsey was above that. There was a segment in the ring between Mako and Isla Dawn. Great presentation of Isla Dawn here, really well done, and she'll be the next challenger for Mako Satomura. Hopefully Mako wins, but good presentation for Isla Dawn here. It was a very interesting segment, and I really liked the different production value on it. Looks like there could either be a new debut or return soon. It looks like it could be Wild Boar returning after his injury last year. Backstage segment is Stars and Mastiff cut holes in Pretty Deadly's shirts, so that'll be a match taking place next week. Also, it was announced that Noam Dar would be taking on Joe Coffey in 2 weeks, and Shah Samuels will be taking on Mark Coffey next week. By the way, that match will be for the Heritage Cup between Dar and Coffey. Hopefully Dar retains. But some good stuff between Shah Samuels, who's very entertaining, and Gallus. Next week also will be for the UK Championship as Ilya Dragunov takes on Nathan Frazier. My goodness, that's going to be an absolute barn burner. Great promo from Symbiosis and Eddie Dennis. Talking about their Symbiosis return soon after their couple of losses. Sam Greb also cut a nice fiery promo. He's not done with Kenny Williams. He's going to kill him. And the main event was for the UK Tag Team Championships as Mustache Mountain defended against Smith and Carter. 4 stars. There were some botches in the match that stopped it from being an absolute classic, but overall amazing action between all 4 men. And Mustache Mountain retained after Trent Seven pushed, I believe, Carter's foot off the ropes without a referee or Tyler Bates' knowledge. I can definitely see where this is leading. I could definitely see some sort of segments or matches where Seven continuously cheats, and eventually Bate will see it, and he won't be too pleased because Bate will want to win matches by cleanly, and I think that could cause a rift between Bate and Seven, and I think we could see Tyler Bate versus Trent Seven. Now they have teased in the past of Trent Seven retiring, and I could totally see him retiring against Tyler Bate next year in a match or later this year. Hopefully Trent Seven continues wrestling. But if he's going to go out, yeah, that would be one hell of a way to go out in a match with Tyler Bate. Smackdown. We opened Smackdown with Ronda Rousey cutting a promo, and we set up Ronda Rousey versus Sonya Deville for next week. Hopefully Ronda kills her, and luckily it looks like the end of the Naomi-Sonya Deville feud. Thank goodness for that. The first match was New Day taking on Los Lotharios. Big E had a quad bike for some reason as his birthday present for next week or whatever. And yeah, another good match and the end of the trilogy, 3.25 stars. Hopefully Los Lotharios continue to get TV time because they are really phenomenal as a tag team. New Day really didn't need to win that, but it was a solid match, and it looks like we could be heading for New Day versus Ridge Holland and Sheamus as well in the future, which could be an absolute banger. Next up, Xia Li had her first match on Smackdown as she took on Natalya in a good match. Xia Li was hugely over with the crowd, which was awesome to see, and she has such a badass entrance and badass presentation, and I'm happy she picked up the win and she showed off her cool moves. So, very good performance from Xia Li, and I'm happy to see that hopefully she has a sustained push because she's a phenomenal performer and a future champion for sure. Sami Zayn had an Intercontinental Championship celebration. He's very entertaining. Johnny Knoxville came out and challenged him basically for the title. That'll definitely be the WrestleMania match, by the way. Negative, it'll be a terrible match. Positive, it'll get mainstream attention and Sami Zayn will get noticed mainstream. Hopefully more people will learn of Sami Zayn and be entertained by Sami Zayn. So at least a positive there. I saw someone say, why are they doing this? You can say you don't like it. That I can understand. But why are they doing this? Because mainstream attention. But the crowd was hot for Knoxville here and they booed the hell out of Sami Zayn, so at least the crowd was into it. And Sami Zayn made this entertaining because Sami Zayn is amazing. Sami Zayn will be taking on Ricochet for the Intercontinental Championship next week. Banger incoming. Sasha Banks is back. She took on Shotzi Blackheart, who's still not very good. Sasha Banks picked up the victory quickly, and Naomi was on commentary for some reason, and apparently Banks and Naomi are going for the women's tag titles. Sasha deserves better, but at least we're not getting Naomi and Sonya Deville. Naomi sucks still. Drew took on Madcap Moss. Didn't need to happen. Drew won. Squash match. Meh. It was fine. It was okay. At least Drew won. Reigns took on Brock Lesnar. Reigns and Brock Lesnar ended the show with a contract segment. Amazing stuff from Roman Reigns and Brock Lesnar here as usual. An awesome ending segment. And Brock Lesnar threw a chair at some security guard, which was hilarious. And Brock Lesnar just beating up people is very entertaining. And yeah, we're leading to a title unification match at WrestleMania as Roman Reigns will take on Brock Lesnar on the Sunday main event. Should be an absolute banger. I'm excited for the match. Hopefully this is not the end of the brand split, because one issue with not having a brand split is it leads to people being on Raw and SmackDown every week and having the same matches on Raw and SmackDown, which I don't want to see. So hopefully that's not the end of that. But Smackdown, it was an okay show. Had its moments and had its down moments, but it was fine, but nothing special. But an awesome ending segment, which saved the show. Monday Night Raw. A pretty good episode of Monday Night Raw, and we opened with a new intro, and it looked pretty cool. And we got the GOAT Veer in the intro. Already a massive W for Raw, and it hasn't even really started yet. But the beginning was the KO show. Kevin Owens with Seth Rollins and his guests, Alpha Academy. Now, at one point, Kevin Owens was insulting Texas, as he has been doing recently, and he was noting down Texas legends, and one he missed out was Stone Cold, and that was definitely done on purpose, which again leads me to believe that we are definitely getting Kevin Owens versus Stone Cold Steve Austin at WrestleMania. But it was a really funny opening segment, a really entertaining opening segment between all four. They made fun of the way that Gable says "shoosh" and "thank you," thank you, and the way he says that as well. They made fun of that, and eventually Kevin Owens and Gable got into a shooshing contest, which was very funny and very entertaining. And also on Twitter, I saw Kevin Owens slander. How? How can you hate Kevin Owens? Kevin Owens is just amazing at everything, and is such a wonderful person as well. You can't hate Kevin Owens. Anyway, great opening segment, and it led to a great match as Alpha Academy took on Kevin Owens and Seth Rollins. And yeah, really good match. I give it 3 3/4. Match of the night for sure. An excellent performance from all four, and I love Owens and Rollins' finishing sequence. It's just so cool. And they picked up the W here, going into the 3-way title match next week. Then we had Omos taking on T-Bar, and Omos just squashed T-Bar. Well, that happened, and it wasn't good. Omos is just not very good, is he? He's got no charisma, he's just got nothing. T-Bar deserves better, in my opinion. We then had a 6-woman tag as Nikki Ash, Becky Lynch and Doudrop took on Rhea, Liv Morgan and Bianca Belair. 3.5 stars, a very good tag team match, a very fun tag team match. All 6 got a pretty good shine. Liv did a really nice dive to the outside and a suicide dive as well. Looked really good. Rhea looked amazing in this, and Bianca Belair was of course the breakout star of the match. And she whipped the hell out of Becky Lynch with her hair. What a sound it made. Goodness gracious. And Becky was all cut up on her ribs. Just insanity. And of course Team Bianca picked up the victory in a very entertaining, fun match. We then had Robert Roode taking on Tommaso Ciampa. Tommaso Ciampa had new music. I don't like it as much of his NXT one, but apparently Ciampa himself has come out and said that he actually likes his new music. So that's good for him. I get his reasoning because so it's changed from No One Will Survive to Fight to Survive, which I guess is fine. And I'll need to listen to the song on its own to really judge it, because the second half actually sounded pretty decent, but the first half is just a bit long intro. Too long of a slow intro, if you know what I mean. If they cut that a bit, it might be a better song. But hey, Ciampa likes it, so at least he likes it. And it's not the end of the world. And he picked up the victory here in a decent match, 2.5 stars. Went a couple minutes, Ciampa picked up the win, and the Dirty Dogs laid out Ciampa after the match. Pretty fun. Next up was Akira Tozawa and Tamina taking on Reggie and Dana Brooke. Dana and Reggie are a nice house show opener, like No Way Jose was. But I really don't need their matches on TV, to be honest. They're just very skippable. But there was one little funny moment with Tamina kissing Akira Tozawa, and Tozawa's like in love walk was quite funny, and that was literally it. That was the only funny thought was that part. We then had Rey Mysterio come out for a match with Dominic to take on the Hurt Business, but before then Miz cut a promo, and yeah, he was awesome as usual. Miz knows how to work a crowd, and he can sell literally anything. You could give him the worst thing ever and he'll make it good. It's just insane how good he is. and another great promo here. And afterwards we had the Mysterios taking on Cedric and Shelton, the Hurt Business, and the Hurt Business won. Dom had a really poor performance here, just didn't look great. I give the match 2 stars, it was fine, but again, a couple of iffy moments with Dominic. But the Hurt Business picked up the win after a Miz distraction, which was fine. We then had the Street Profits taking on RK Bro. I'm going to give it 2 stars. It wasn't a great match. There seemed to be a little bit off early on, and it never really went back on track. Orton's got a hot tag, which was pretty cool, but in the end, Montez hit a big frog splash on Orton and kind of landed on his shoulder, on Orton's shoulder, and it seemed to legit hurt Orton, and he didn't kick out on the pin. I believe he was meant to, it looked like, but as the professional ref did, he had to count to 3, treat it like a shoot. I know some referees don't do that, and it just looks stupid if you hold up the 3 count. Just count to 3. It's not your fault. You're just doing your job. The ref shouldn't get any heat for that because he just did his job. He did his job correctly. He counts to 3. It's up to the performers to kick out. And luckily though, Orton seems to be fine apparently after it, so no injury. That's good to hear. Profits pick up the win by accident, I guess. We then had backstage with Vince McMahon and Austin Theory, and this was actually better than the ones they've done before. They do seem to finally be getting their rhythm, but they talked about Vince's interview on Thursday, and it looks like Austin Theory will be showing up there. As I said, I think so at WrestleMania, apparently the rumour is that Vince McMahon will wrestle Pat McAfee at WrestleMania. I don't think that's going to happen. They might advertise that, but I think Austin Theory will be wrestling in his place. We then had the United States Championship on the line as Damian Priest defended against Finn Balor. This was a very good match. I gave it 3.5 stars. They had, especially the last couple of minutes, there was some nice sequences between them. But Priest didn't really lose anything in his defeat. It was a very even matchup, very even Steven. And Balor just edged it and picked up the victory. Afterwards, Priest got on the mic and he was unhappy about that. The fans were cheering Finn Balor, but they never gave that respect to Priest during his US title run. And he beat up Balor after the match and did a hangman spot. He went to do it through the announce table, but Balor kind of bounced off. But that looked even more brutal. A great sell from Balor there. And I believe we'll probably get a rematch at WrestleMania, which could be a hell of a match, by the way. Maybe they add a third person, maybe Ciampa or Ziggler gets added to it and makes it a 3 or 4 way. Could be a very fun United States Championship match though. And I'm interested to see Damian Priest as a heel. I think he'll thrive more as a heel, to be honest. But very good match. Happy to see Finn Balor win the US title. And we ended with Edge calling out his WrestleMania opponent, who's going to step up. And hell yeah, they don't want none. That music hit. AJ Styles came out, and we're getting Edge versus AJ Styles at WrestleMania. Hell yes, what a dream match. This is going to be an absolute banger. Edge wanted the Pitbull AJ Styles back. Then they started fighting. Styles went for the phenomenal forearm but missed, and Edge took Styles to Dick Kick City. And poor Styles, man. Luckily he's already had his kids. And then Edge hit 2 concertos on AJ Styles, so he turned heel basically. Edge is back to being a heel, and this is going to be awesome. I assume he'll probably turn face before he retires, but this will be his nice last final heel run, and hopefully it goes well. I mean, it's going to go well, it's Edge. But damn, this is going to be an awesome match at WrestleMania. I'm pumped for it. But yeah, that was a really fun episode of Raw. And again, Raw continues to impress this year. It's been very good this year, and we're 3 months in. Good stuff. TJPW News. So, there was a show that they did, I can't remember the date, sorry. But the latest show, Toyo University took on Kaya Toribami and Hikari Noah. 3.5 stars, a very good match. Camu was very funny with her cheating here. Had a lot of cheating going around, which Kiyu was not a fan of. Noah then cheats as well, leading to a fight between Camu and Noah, which Kiyu hilariously broke up by hitting Noah on the head. Camu eventually won with a Fame-Master on Kaya Toribami. This actually match got a lot of time and was very entertaining. Good performance from all 4. Enjoyable match. Moka Miyamoto took on Suzume and Haruna Neko in a 3-way match. 3 3/4. A great match. Neko is amazing and she's very good at being evil in a nice way. A lot of fun action packed in this 3-way match, and I actually really enjoyed the finish. It was a nice unique finish as Neko went for a Neko breaker, but Suzume rolled it up for the victory. Great match, 3 3/4, match of the night, and I actually really enjoyed this match. I love Suzume and Neko's chemistry with each other. Next up was Marika Kobashi taking on Hyper Misawa. 3 stars, nothing out of this world, nothing really much to mention. Misawa picked up the victory in a very solid match. Next up was the semi-final as Raku teamed up with Yuki Arai and Pom Harajuku to take on Shoko Nakajima and the Bakuretsu sisters. 3 1/4 stars, a solid match with some funny moments. Raku's sleeping spell on like the Tower of Doom was very funny. Nodoka then used Pom's arse as a bongo drum, which was very funny. Nodoka Tenma involved in a lot of the entertaining moments in this match. Man, it's going to be really sad to see her go next month. The main event was Hakuchamu teaming up with Nao Kakata to take on Majirabi and Arisu Endo. 3 stars. It was a good match, but nothing special, but a solid main event. And a very good show, an enjoyable show from Tokyo Joshi Pro Wrestling. And now we have the full card for the 19th of March show, the Grand Princess show. And it's a very interesting card, some big matches that I'm interested in, some matches that I'm not hugely interested in. But let's run down what's happening on the card. So the opening match is a tag team match. It's Arisuzu, Arisu Endo and Suzume will be taking on the Os sisters, I guess. Moka Miyamoto and Juria Nagano. I think they spelt the name wrong. I don't know if it's spelt with a Z or a J. I think her name's Juria, so I'm assuming it's going to be a J. Don't know why I put Z on her debut thing. But, okay. Should be a really good match. I'm excited to see how Juria is going to do. Hopefully she has a great performance. She's a very beautiful lady, and hopefully she has a good performance with Moka. And it's great to put her with Moka. And we get more Moka and Endo, who have great chemistry. And some Arisuzu, which is always a good thing. The second match on the card is an 8-woman tag, a match that I'm super interested in. Kara Toribami, Haruna Neko, Nao Kakata and Mihiro Kiryu teaming up to take on Gambare Pro. Yes, you heard that right, Gambare Pro are going to be involved. Yuna Manase, obviously the team leader, with Harukaze, Yuri and Moeka Haruhi. Yes, Harukaze on a TJPW show, Yuri on a TJPW show, and Yuna Manase back on a TJPW show. I really want to see more interaction between Gambare and TJPW. Please do that. But that should be a really fun match. The next match is Sanshiro Tagaki taking on Hyper Misawa. Okay. Then we get the biggest match of the show. I don't care what anyone says, this is the biggest match. Asuka/Veni taking on Kamayu. Yes, please give them 12 minutes plus to have an absolute banger. This is going to be a banger of a match. I'm super pumped for this. Venue explodes. Oh, this is going to be such a good match. Then we have Nodoka Tenma taking on Yuki Aino. The Bakuretsu sisters explode. This should be a very good match, and I believe that is the final match of Nodoka Tenma's career. And she gets to face her sister in her final match, which should be a lot of fun. Then we have the cringe comedy match. New Bishiki Gun with Martha and Yukio St. Laurent. I don't care about either of them two. Taking on Marika Kobashi. Yay. Raku. Yay. Pom Harajuku. Yay. And Ramu Kaichou. Marika deserves better. Then we have Hikari Noah taking on Hikaru Shida. Meh. Maki Ito taking on Yuki Arai for the International Princess Championship. Okay, I guess. Majirabi defending their tag titles against Hakuchamu. Let's go Hakuchamu. Hopefully they pick up the victory and win the belts. And the main event, which should be in banger, but we've seen it before. Miyu Yamashita taking on Shoko Nakajima. Let's go Shoko. So I'm actually more excited about the undercard than the main event, to be honest. I also watched the pool match, where multiple teams, I believe it was 5 teams, it was Yuki Arai and Hikari Noah taking on Majirabi, Marika and Raku, Hakuchamu, and Mizao teaming up with Nodoka Tenma. Yeah, they wrestled in a swimming pool complex, and it was hella fun. I definitely recommend go checking it out. Yuka Sakazaki was just a bully throughout it. I hate her. She made Marika cry, so she would never, ever be forgiven. But she got a little bit of revenge when Mizao did her sort of like hero swing in the showers while Yuka was getting sprayed with water. Mizuki also got a shower to the face, which was very funny. Miyu held Nodoka Tenma hostage down at the end of a slide, and they all took turns sliding in after her, which was hilarious. And the funniest moment was Mizao holding Sayuri Namba at gunpoint, literally at gunpoint, forcing her to go down the slide, and then threw her down. Like, I think either she fell, kind of, but she got thrown down the slide, and I believe she hit a caution sign as well, and that came down with her. I was dying laughing at that. Poor Namba. She was trying to do her job, and she got thrown down a slide in the water. Hilarious stuff. I definitely recommend go checking it out. I'm not sure about an official rating for it, maybe like 4.25 stars, but so much fun, so entertaining, and I would like to see a couple things like this every year. It was very entertaining. Definitely go check it out. The only down point was that Majirabi won. Boo to them. But yeah, very entertaining, and poor Namba.
だったわけじゃないですか。今はもうコスチュームですから、何をしてんですか。滑ったですよ。あ、切れた。マリカ選手切れましたね。
繰り広げられております。ミサオ。
さすがのちょっと待ってください。
おやすみなさい。川塚家からの。
いけませんね。
これ実際、プロレスラーの方でも泳ぎが苦手。水はね、かなり体力の消耗を促しますから。
あと当たり前ですけど、皆さん真似しないでくださいっていうか、真似できるところないですけど、めっちゃピンポイントで当たってますよ。
怖っ。もう恐ろしい人たちばっかりですね。
濡れたタオルは無理。
いくら食いしん。そして待ち受けるは天満なのか。坂崎優香はこのサーフィンさすがの坂崎も。だが意外どうかと思いますけどもね。
このまま銀アナの一存で我々を勝利させるぞ。
ひどい。雑。もう今のはね、ホワイトドラさん。南波さんありなんですか、あれ。いや、
南波さん、
そして最後は
どういう体勢ですか。
洗うやつですけども、そこでヒーロー強制システム。ミュウ選手軽々とやってますけど、今結構すごいことしてましたね。
苦しいし。
愛してます。ちょっと。外れた。
自分だけいった。
ピザのフロート。プロレス勝負をかけてまいります。坂田優香マジカル魔法少女。
Stardom. So some notes on Stardom from the 21st of February show and the 21st of February pay-per-view show. So the 21st of February show, there was some matches I want to talk about, 4 matches in general that I want to talk about. Momo Watanabe faced Mina Shiroka and won by cheating. It was a decent match, 3.25 stars. but nothing out of this world and not as good as their pay-per-view match. Again, Momo's offenses kind of bores me a little bit. We also had Donna Del Mondo beating the Angels again. At least it was a very good match. I give it 3.5 stars, but I'm just so sick of seeing Donna Del Mondo win every match against the Angels. What's the point of this feud? What's the point of this feud? The whole feud is just Donna Del Mondo winning every single match. So what's the point? It's literally pointless. There was an Artist of Stardom Championship. Mai Himapoi took on Rina Ruaka and Starlight Kid. I'll give you 5 seconds to guarantee what the ending was. Yep, that's right, Donna Del Mondo retained, of course. It was a better match than I thought it would be. I almost gave it 3 3/4, but I just gave it 3.5 stars. It was still a very good match, and I loved Ruaka's new look. Her new hair, Rina's new gear was awesome. And yeah, she looked much better with this new gear. It looked really cool. Very good match. But the match of the night was actually Stars taking on Queen's Quest. Azumi teamed up with Aphrodite to take on Momokogo, Hazuki and Maya Iwatani. A phenomenal performance from Momokogo as she continues to shine in Stardom. And yeah, great match, 3 3/4. I would go out of your way to watch this one. But let's get on to the pay-per-view, which I would say was great wrestling, awful booking. So the 3-way opening match with the winners two winners facing the Future of Stardom champion on 2 night pay-per-views next month. Mai Sakurai, Waka Tsukiyama, and Rina. And Waka Tsukiyama was pinned twice because, of course, you have Rina, who's good, but she does not connect with the crowd like Waka, and Mai, who's not very good and does not connect with the crowd like Waka. You'd have those two weaker members pin the one who's actually got potential to be a star. You don't want to make a star, do you? Why would you ever want to do that? No, you bury her and have her continue losing and losing and losing and losing and losing, and then go, why hasn't she become a big star? Oh, because you haven't given her any opportunity to do so. The Future of Stardom Championship match, Momokogo and Hanan. Kogo is just so much better than Hanan in every way, in my opinion. And she even busted out her Hurricanrana here. I also loved that she came in with the umbrella, which was awesome to see. She looked like a mega star. But she lost to Hanan here. 3 stars, they only got 5 minutes, they didn't get much time. Can't give a Future of Stardom Championship more than 5 minutes, of course. But they fit in what they could in those 5 minutes and had a very good match. Next up was Momo Watanabe and Ruaka taking on Lady C and Utami. I'll give you 5 seconds to guess who was pinned here. That's right, Lady C was pinned again by Ruaka. Honestly, I just don't get the point. What is the point of Lady C if you're going to have her lose for what? She lost for like a year straight, every single match, even tag matches. Then she won a match and then went back to losing for 5 months, and then she wins maybe 2 matches a month and everyone thinks, oh, she's finally turned the corner, and she's right back where she was and losing every single match. Now, of course, I believe on the next show she also got pinned again because, again, she has to be pinned. Yeah, when is the time going to become for her to actually get her just desserts and start getting pushed? Because I guarantee people like Utami were not treated like this. Why wasn't Utami treated like this? Lady C is a great performer. She's learning at an extremely fast rate. Mayu teamed up with Tam to take on Saki and the Clown. Not watching that because the Clown. Then we had Donna Del Mondo explode in a 6-woman tag match. Mika, Himika and Shiri took on Julia, Mirai and Tekla. Guess who took the pin? That's right, no one, because it went to a time limit draw. Can't have someone from Donna Del Mondo getting pinned. 3.5 stars. It was a very good match. It almost became great, but I think there was a bit too much of Julia and Shiri. If you're doing the match next month, I wouldn't give away so much of it here, and they gave away a lot of it, which kind of makes their match next month a little less interesting, so I thought that was poor booking in this match. And, come on, someone could have taken a pin there, it's fine. Julia probably could have gotten a pin over, I don't know, Himika, it would have been fine, no one would have cared, but obviously got to protect Donna Del Mondo at all costs. Next up, FWC versus Pink Kabuki for the Goddess of Stardom Tag Team Championships. Out of a 3.5 star match, there was a couple of botches in the middle, but overall it's still a very entertaining match. FWC picked up the victory, and guess who was pinned? Of course it was Mina Shirakawa who was pinned, because of course she was. I genuinely, in these tag matches, it's very, very, very rare, if not ever, that Tam takes a pin. It's again very rare that Unagi takes a pin. It's always, always Mina. And that's just sad. The semi-final, here's where the show actually becomes better. The semi-final, Azumi, who got a title shot because she was pinned by Starlight Kid. Great booking there. Took on Starlight Kid for the High Speed Championship. 4.25 stars. I don't think it was good as people are saying it was, but it was still a phenomenal match. Don't get me wrong on that. They gave it their all. They went about 17 minutes, which is the longest they've ever gone against each other. And yeah, they tore the house down and had an excellent match, and somehow wasn't match of the night. But phenomenal performance from both ladies here. Could have gone either way at any point. They had some great back and forth, and obviously they know each other's history so well, so some great reversals, loads of great fast pins and high speed action throughout, and just super entertaining. In the end, Azumi picked up the victory, which I did not expect. I expected Kito to retain, but Azumi picked up the win here, and I guess we're going to continue with the high speed. Kito and Azumi will probably swap at the belts for the next 5 years. The one issue I have is with Starlight Kid and Azumi is, for about 4 or 5 years now, we've heard that they are the future. They're the future. They're the future. But what point do they become the past? Why can't they ever be the present? Because it just feels like we're going to go, yeah, they're the future, they're the future. Yeah, they're 27 years old. Starlight Kid and Azumi, they're the future, they're the future, they're the future. Oh no, they're the past. It just, I don't know. I would like to see maybe by the end of the year that Kito and Azumi maybe rise out of the high speed division full time. I mean, they can always go back to it. That's fine. But I would like to see them rise above that at some point. The main event was Sai Kamitani taking on Natsupoi, and this may be one of the best Stardom matches of the year. Absolutely phenomenal match. I gave it 4 3/4, almost gave it 5 stars. The stuff these two can do is incredible. Probably both of their best matches of their career here. It's wonderful to see how much these two have improved over the last year or so, or 2 years. It's just incredible to watch, and they are both star performers, and they deserve this main event. They proved everyone wrong. Even me, who doubted it being a main event, they proved me wrong, and I'll put my hands up and say that I was wrong on that, and they definitely deserve this main event, because they tore the house down, rebuilt it, and then tore it back down again. Excellent stuff, and definitely go out of your way to check out the Kito Azumi match, and 100% you need to watch this match between Kamitani and Poi, because this was pure perfection. Well, not perfection, but you know what I mean. It was pretty much perfection. Maybe could have cut off about 2 minutes and it would have been a 5-star match, but still a phenomenal match that you should go and watch. Stardom's New Blood show on March 11th. The full card was announced, and here it is. Opening the show will be Momo Kogo, probably getting a win here, against Sayaka from Gatu Move Pro Wrestling. So that's going to be really cool to see Sayaka on Stardom. It's a huge moment for her, and hopefully she kills it, impresses, and gets to be on more of these New Blood shows. I might expect a win for Momo Kogo, which should be good for her, but it could be a really fun match, and I hope they're given at least 7 or 8 minutes to have a really fun match. Then there's Cosmic Angels versus Marvelous, where if Marvelous win, I'm actually going to scream. It's Maria and Ai Huzan taking on Unagi Sayaka and Waka Tsukiyama. I can totally see Waka taking the pin here because they just seem to hate Waka. Then we have Queen's Quest Donna Del Mondo, the match I'm least looking forward to. Sai Kamatani and Lady C taking on Mirai and Mai Sakurai. Knowing Stardom, Mai Sakurai will pin Lady C probably. We then have Stars versus JTO, Tomoko Inaba and Aoi, I don't know how you pronounce that, taking on Hanan and the returning Macho Gori-chan. Saya Ida is coming back on March 11th. So happy for her, and it's going to be great to see her back in the ring and back to seeing her super big muscles. And let's go Gori-chan. Let's go Gori-chan. It's great to see her back. Then we have Ueda Tai versus Diana, as Starlight Kid and her teammate Ruaka taking on Haruka Umasaki and Nanami from Diana. And then the main event, Utami Hayashishita, who's going through her emo phase, taking on Miyu Amasaki is her ring name. Apparently it's not going to be Miyu Matsuda, it's Miyu Amasaki. It'll be very interesting to see her debut and see how well she does and see what her moveset is like. Should be a fun show. Looks like a decent card. I'm excited to see Momo Koga and Sayaka. I'm really excited to see Saida back, and I want to see how Miyu will do.
うなぎ選手とご覧になっております。ね、今井さんすごい。今井さんすごい。落ち粒です。38。うわ。さや。おお。いやでもだって時間の一つ及ばず。入っちゃった。でも入っちゃった。額がある。見たかったラブ。当たっちゃった。素晴らしい。調子に乗ってますね。調子に乗る。
Thank you for listening to the Decent Wrestling Show. Again, make sure to like, comment, share, subscribe, and arrivederci.
Thank you, everyone, for watching.